Welcome back, students of class 10. So today we are going to start a new chapter in your syllabus, that is chapter number 5 in biology, that is control and coordination. What are we going to learn in this chapter? We know that in our body there are millions of cells that make up our body, right? These cells come together to do specific functions in structures known as tissues. These tissues again come together, different types of tissues come together and do one specific function, to do more coordinated way into an organ. And when the various organs of the body come together, they make up one system. For example, in the digestive tract, in the digestive system, there are different types of organs. There are different, like the stomach is there, esophagus is there, pharynx is there, the different digestive glands are there, like liver. So these are the different organs of the digestive system. Each organ is made up of different types of tissues, which are in turn made up of different types of cells, right? Now, to do the proper functioning of the system, when a system needs to function properly, all these different organs must come together and work together. This is what is known as coordination. Let's say you're running. While running, you're using your muscles, right? But the muscles, where do they get the energy from? They get the energy by doing respiration. So the respiratory system is also involved in running. When you're running, you are taking excess oxygen. So that is supplied by the respiratory system, which is carried by the circulatory system to your muscles. So all these different systems come together to make a body work. This is what is called coordination. So we get various types of coordination and response in our different plants and animals, among all living organisms. What is a response? Like, let's say there is some change in the environmental condition. Now, to cope up with that change, the body does something different. The body does some changes in its physiological process. Then that is what is called a response. And the environmental signal that causes this change in the body is called a stimulus. So a stimulus comes in, the stimulus causes a change in the body's metabolism or the physiological aspects, and this is what we know as a response. This response needs a coordination of all the body systems. For example, in case of unicellular organisms, the most simple response is to move towards anything or to move away from something. A unicellular organism has only two responses, either to move towards something or to move away from something. In multicellular organisms, this is, however, much more complicated. Like in multicellular organism, the different cells, if they are performing different functions, then like some may be involved in osmosis, some may be involved in digestion, some may be involved in excretion. All these systems must come together to give the appropriate response to a stimulus. For example, when you move out of a room and into the light, your eyes immediately shrink, right? So that is caused by the amount of light entering your eye, causing your eyes to close down. That is a response. Similarly, when you go out into into a hot weather, it causes you to sweat. This is also a response in relation to a stimulus. In the first example, light is the stimulus for your eyes to close down, while in the second example, it is the temperature that is the main stimulus for your eyes to close down. Now, this sort of response and coordination in any body, in any living body, happens through three systems. First is the sensory systems, that we have our sensory organs that help us to catch the stimulus, right? We get the idea of the stimulus, we get the external environment through our sensory systems. Then we have the nervous system, the nervous systems that carry the information, to the brain and to the back, or back to our body. Okay, so that is done by the nervous system. And then after the nervous system, we also have another system, a system of chemical messengers, which are called hormones. Hormones are different chemicals or different proteins that are produced by our brain that triggers this hormone, that triggers these changes, that triggers a response in our body. The hormones are produced in our brain and other organs that are carried through our body by the circulatory system, which then causes a response in our body. Okay, so this is how the basic response and stimulus thing work. These response and stimulus are not only present in animals, they are present in plants also. However, plants do not have a nervous system. Plants, they respond to an environmental stimulus by changing, they can also do it by changing their movement. But in most cases, it is slower than animals. They do it by changing the pressure of the water within the cells. This is called called Turgor movement. Turgor movement, which is done by changing the internal pressure of the cell, that helps it to change the cell shape and thereby thus moving the body away or towards any stimulus. We are going to learn more about plant and animal responses in this chapter. Hope you read this section very carefully, and if you have any question regarding what we have learned today, feel free to ask. Thank you.